Well, good day, everyone. I'd like to welcome you to the 2016 Year in Review Weather Summary across the Northern Rockies from here at the National Weather Service in Missoula, Montana. My name is Bob Nestor. I'm the Senior Meteorologist and Climate Program Manager here in Missoula, and I'll walk you through the year 2016. First of all, I want to talk about drought. Last year at this time, there was an extensive area of either from severe to exceptional drought across much of the western U.S. Over here on our second slide to the right, by the time we got to December 16, most of that drought has been eradicated. With the exception in western Montana, we're still in abnormally dry to moderate drought in the Bob Marshall Wilderness and to the Butte Pintlers. Note California's exceptional drought continues in central and southern California. Okay, annual precipitation across the western U.S. Northwest Montana received some pretty favorable rain, anywhere from 100 to 135% of normal in some areas. It was pretty wet in Glacier last spring. West central Montana and southwest Montana fared a little bit below normal or at normal, anywhere from 75 to 90% of normal. And central Idaho, slightly above normal. Limhi County down in Salmon was below normal. Taking a look a little bit more specifically at some select cities, there you see Missoula at 99%, Kalispell 118%, down in Butte and Salmon where it was drier than normal, anywhere from 80 to 95%. And Orofino was the big winner last year at 124% of normal. So we get into temperatures across the west. Most temperatures were at or above normal across the region. Specifically in western Montana, northwest Montana was a little bit more higher than normal than the rest of the area, which was just about at or slightly above. Specifically, some select cities, Missoula just above normal, Kalispell was a winner at 1.8 degrees above normal, and Butte, Orofino, and Salmon anywhere from half a degree to a degree above normal. Nothing exceptional last year. Okay, annual snowfall across the region. This is for the calendar year, January 1st, 2016 to December 31st, 2016. And for the calendar year, we're right around normal everywhere. 42 inches in Missoula, 52 in Kalispell, and then Orofino and Salmon anywhere from 11 to 23 inches. Okay, I want to talk a little bit about, the next several slides, we'll talk a little bit about weather systems that had a larger impact on bigger areas. First of all, there were several January local freezing rain events. There wasn't any big widespread events, but there's about 3 or 4 events where some local areas had some freezing rain. Now, as we get into these next events, you can click on these events, and it will show you, take you to a link of more detail on what these events had. For example, the rock slide and mudslide near Elk City in February that occurred blocked Highway 14 from Grangeville to Elk City. If you click on this link, it'll give you some pictures and some more detailed information about the event. Same thing with the St. Patrick Day heavy snow event in northwest Montana, which occurred, March 17th. The early May snowstorm in southwest Montana. It's not unprecedented to get a snowstorm in May or even early June in southwest Montana, because that's the time of year where they're favored to have most of their precipitation and snow, and that occurred on May 7th. And then we had some late May flooding in northwest Montana, especially up in the Flathead River as you go up to between Kalispell and Glacier. Okay, we had a wind event in June across west central Montana that had some big impacts into the Bitterroot Valley. Fire season last year normally can be a pretty impactful season, but this year was not too bad at all. We went into the season in July with high potential for some large wildland fires with a dry May and June. But however, as there are so many variables that go into wildfire season, we had 1.5 inches to 2 inches of rainfall over 3 days in the middle of July, and this basically delayed the season till the first or second week of August. Right around that time, we had 2 significant fires. One was the Roaring Fire that happened down in Hamilton that destroyed numerous homes. And there was another one called the Copper King Fire up between Plains and Thompson Falls that actually started sometime in July, settle down for a little bit, and then pick back up in late August. Okay, as we head into September, we had a pretty early freeze this year. The average date of the first freeze is September 21st, but we had a couple days of freeze temperatures on September 12th and 13th, which had an impact to agriculture and other early land use impacts. Okay, our first big snow of the year occurred in mid-October, and that was predominantly up in the Glacier Marias Pass area in along the Continental Divide. Speaking of October, October was one of the wettest months on record, and by a lot. For example, Kalispell's wettest October on record was this year with 4.86 inches, and it broke a 102-year-old record by over an inch, almost an inch and a half, where they had 3.4 inches in 1914. Orofino was also the wettest on record by just about an inch. The last time they did that was their record was in 1995. Missoula, third wettest on record, behind third wettest on record in the last 31 years. Butte, fourth wettest on record, and Salmon, seventh wettest October on record. So as they head into November, almost the opposite. November was the big story. November was one of the warmest Novembers on record. It was the warmest November on record in Orofino, and we're either anywhere from 3rd to 14th warmest Novembers on record from Salmon, Kalispell, Butte, and Missoula. What this meant, what this was significant for, is that we didn't get much in the way of snowfall. In fact, Kalispell only had 0.7 of an inch of snowfall, and that occurred on the last day of November. Missoula only had 1.2 inches, and that occurred on the 28th of November. So we're figuring, hey, warm winter maybe. Well, we're gonna flip the scale again, as December is going to be known for one of the snowiest and coldest winters, December 2016, in over 30 years. Okay, Missoula had its third snowiest month on record with 27.8 inches, and this was behind 1996, where they had 54.1 inches. We also had our coldest December in 26 years, dating back to 1990, and it's the 8th coldest on record. And these records go back to 1893. Kalispell, 5th snowiest on record, 33.6 inches, and coldest December in 32 years. Butte, 8th coldest December on record. One note, we've had more snowfall as of today, January 5th, than all of last winter 2015 and 16, in both Missoula and Kalispell. All right, some impacts in December 2016, some large area-wide impacts. The mid-December cold and snow right around the 14th to 16th. We had a very snowy Christmas Eve across the Bitterroot Missoula valleys. I believe we recorded right around 7 inches in Missoula. Also, we had 13 inches of snow on the ground, which was only second to 1996 in the month of December. There was a New Year's Eve, New Year's Day winter storm with lots of wind and blowing snow, especially up in northwest Montana, out of the Bad Rock Canyon and Kalispell and along US 35 and along the Flathead Lake. And kind of along with this storm, right on its heels, we had a very significant Arctic outbreak. And as of today, Kalispell got down January 5th to minus 24, minus 19 in Missoula, and right around 31 below zero in Butte. This Arctic outbreak was long, prolonged period of cold temperatures with several days of temperatures below zero and high temperatures struggling to reach zero. Okay, hottest day of the year last year. These are just a couple charts of the hottest day in 2016 on the upper left and the dates they occurred. Note only one city received a temperature of 100 degrees, and that was Orofino last year on 3 days, July 30th through August 1st. The wettest day of the year last year was also in Orofino on December 19th of this year, 2.1 inches of liquid precipitation. Coldest day of the year was Butte, as it usually is, given its elevation. On December 17th, there was 37 below zero. Missoula's was 16 below zero on December 17th. If you count through January 5th this morning, our coldest temperature of the year was 19 below. Kalispell 20 below on the 17th. Again, today, January 5th, it was 24 below. Snowiest day of the year, Missoula, December 24th, had 6.6 inches of snow. In fact, earlier in the month, they had another 6-inch snowfall amount, which was only the third or fourth time on record they've had two different events with 6 inches of snow reported. And other snowy days, they were from 4 inches in Orofino to 5.5 in Kalispell. So that's all the stats I have. There's a great deal of stats and a great deal of information. So for more information on the climate of 2016 or latest weather updates, please visit us at weather.gov/Missoula. You can also follow us on Twitter at NWS Missoula, or you can follow us, National Weather Service Missoula, on Facebook. Or please contact us at 406-329-4840, especially if you have further questions on the year in summary for 2016. Hey, have a great day.